Hello, this is Nathan Crutchfield for Job Hazard Analysis. I'd like to talk with you briefly about employee participation. These are some of our objectives today. Why should employees be involved? What are some of the ways to gain employee support? What are some of the guidelines for participation? What are some of the types of communications you might want to use, and how do you manage and get support? Without involvement, there is no commitment. Mark it down, asterisk it, circle it, underline it. No involvement, no commitment. That comes from Stephen Covey, one of the great writers of personal achievement and leadership and motivation. Under ANSI Z10, 2005, we see participation is built right into the standard. Under section 3.2, the organization shall establish and implement processes to ensure effective participation by its employees at all levels of the organization, including those working close to the hazard. This will be done by providing employees and employee representatives with the mechanisms, the time, and resources necessary to participate in, at a minimum, the processes of planning, implementation, evaluation, correction, and prevention. It's built right into the standard to have employees at all areas of the implementation of your occupational health and safety management system. By providing employees and employee representatives with timely access to information relevant to the occupational health and safety management system, and finally by identifying and removing obstacles or barriers to participation. Well, employees have a direct knowledge of how tasks are being done. They're right there on the front line day in and day out doing the work, and they are of great assistance if we tap into their expertise on identifying the location and the scope of various risks and hazards that they personally face daily. So given opportunities to participate, we find many employees very enthusiastic and bring much to the table when it comes to the identification of hazard risk, working on job hazard analysis, and safety program improvement. There are a number of keys to provide employees with, and we need you to ask questions of yourself of these. What are the opportunities you've given folks to participate in your program? What kind of support are you receiving from management in time and budget? Time is always an issue. We have other duties and other jobs. What I mean by that is too often many people separate safety from operations and productivity when it should be built right into the time and be budgeted just like we would any other factor. Improved safety has been shown to improve operational effectiveness. Training and resources. What are you providing as to training and resources for employees to allow them to participate more effectively? Areas to consider might be how to hold a meeting. What are hazards? What hazards are they facing out there? A hazard identification program. It could be accident investigation, incident investigation program training. Safety program structure. And if you have a committee, what kind of charter has been provided by management that shows their authority, their scope, their time, and budget? So there's a number of areas where you can enhance the training and resources. So ask yourself, what are we doing in these two areas? What kind of communication is out there? Are you truly communicating that a safe and healthy work environment is essential, and involvement in the process is a condition of employment? You cannot opt out of being involved in the safety program. We want to get everybody involved. Actions on suggestions. Ask yourself, how timely are we in getting back to people that have a good recommendation, see a problem or see an issue, and explain either when and how the issue is going to be addressed, or if it cannot be addressed or implemented, what's to be done as alternatives, and how the workplace will remain safe with those alternatives until you can figure out a way to get the recommendation implemented or alternatives in place. Do you have a policy statement that says that employees are protected from reprisals resulting from safety program participation? Sometimes lead personnel, supervisors, and others don't get the word that it's a condition of employment to participate in the safety program. And they, as I mentioned before, have separated safety out from productivity and operation and not woven it into the day-to-day operation and task. How are you communicating successful ideas that might have been implemented? I once worked with a utility company that had the CEO of the organization presenting awards to various teams from around the country that had successfully implemented techniques and methods that reduced injuries or the potential for risk. And they communicated via special press releases, newsletters, recognition meetings, and this was a national recognition meeting that I was able to attend. What opportunities and mechanisms do your employees have that can influence the safety program design and operation? As we mentioned earlier, they are the front line. They see the risks. They see the hazards. They also know the workarounds. They also know that in many cases, certain safety rules and procedures and protocols might need customizing, and getting them involved in that customization for enhanced safety is a critical issue. This is a graphic of a safety committee concept. Depending on your size, you may have just one committee, but if you're of any scope at all, you might want to have a central committee that acts in an executive fashion. In this case, we've got the Employee Safety Committee that looks at general safety, job hazard analysis, communications, recognition, working with the inspection programs, and we've added in what some folks have used, which is a hazard hunter team that periodically goes through and between formal inspections looks for items. The special function safety committees might involve behavioral observations to go and check and observe individuals in critical areas for their observing of the safe operating procedures, involvement in specific training areas, and possibly vehicle reviews should you have a fleet. Ergonomics should be a standing committee. Ergonomics are a high percentage of the injuries in the average organization, and getting a special team to address ergonomics we believe is crucial. Again, you might have safety communications for the specialty functions, and then last but not least, a team that would go out and follow up on recommendations, whether it's from the general side or the specialty side, to assure that things are in place and effective in the control of risk or hazards. Where to begin? Well, identify employees that can participate. There's a number that I've read that if you can identify 5% of the workforce, these people will act as the core, and you would establish a network that gets through and permeates the entire organization. So as a start, if you don't have employee participation, look for about 5% as a key number. So if you have 500 people, you would need 25 people identified to initially begin the process. Review the action items that we've just discussed and implement as many of those as possible. We recommend start using the job hazard analysis on a routine basis, because this will show you how jobs, their steps and subtasks are really being done out there. Just about every organization I've provided a job hazard analysis workshop to has found or been surprised by various workarounds or modifications to a job or task that was unknown to supervision or to the safety manager, who got a real surprise in several cases. Complete the risk assessment for those hazards identified and establish your controls. And we've covered the risk assessment matrix and the hierarchy of controls in a couple of other videos that you might want to look into. For employee participation, the sky's the limit. You might have site inspections, getting involved directly in the job hazard analysis because they know the job, site-specific safety rules, customizing rules for your specific needs, training of other employees, so sharing of knowledge between each other, use in employee orientation, accident investigation, a number of areas that you might want to design employee participation or request participation in. This is a cause and effect diagram for employee participation. We've got the guidance, one-on-one, knowledge, support, policy, training, basic safety rules, your coaching ability of your supervisors and peers for that matter, orientation of new hires and people changing departments. For site reviews, we would have job hazard analysis, inspections, audits, interviews, observations. In other words, get out, walk and talk and visit with folks and get participation by addressing their needs as you do your site reviews. Then if you use a safety committee, it could be a specific committee to address targeted areas of risk and hazard. Employee general committees, which assist in the full safety management system, and then the central committee, which coordinates all the subcommittees and assures things continue towards your objectives. So that's a cause and effect diagram for employee participation. For additional information, join us at myjobhazardanalysis.com. Materials and discussions for this blog are based on Job Hazard Analysis, a guide for voluntary compliance and beyond, written by James Roughton, co-authored with Nathan Crutchfield, and published by Butterworth Heinemann in 2008. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to discussing aspects of the job hazard analysis process with you in the future.